The Crithian stood alone in the corner of the interstellar station's cantina, his massive frame casting shadows that seemed to devour the light. Zarthok was his name, a warrior from a civilization that had turned to dust 3,000 years ago. The artifact that preserved him had malfunctioned during a salvage operation, awakening him into a galaxy that had forgotten his people's name. Every species aboard the station gave him a wide berth. The Vendali, with their telepathic sensitivity, claimed his mind was a storm of grief and rage. The Krell, who feared nothing, whispered that his kind had once conquered half the known galaxy. Even the station's security drones maintained a cautious distance, their programming flagging him as a potential extinction-level threat. Then came Dr. Sarah Chen, a human xenoarchaeologist with more curiosity than sense, according to her colleagues. She had studied the Crithian civilization for 15 years, piecing together fragments of their culture from ruins and relics. When she heard that a living Crithian walked among them, she didn't see a monster. She saw a person drowning in an ocean of time. Sarah approached his table with 2 cups of synthesized tea, a blend she'd researched from ancient Crithian agricultural records. "I thought you might like something familiar," she said in carefully practiced Crithian, her accent atrocious but earnest. Zarthok's 4 eyes widened. No one had spoken his language in millennia. The words were clumsy, broken, but they carried something he hadn't felt since awakening: recognition. He gestured to the empty seat. Over the following weeks, Sarah became his bridge to this incomprehensible new era. She taught him galactic common, explained the political landscape of the modern galaxy, and shared news of the archaeological sites where his people's legacy endured. In return, Zarthok taught her the true pronunciation of his language, the songs his mother had sung, and the battle philosophies that had made the Crithians legends. The other species watched this unlikely friendship with amazement. The human, so fragile and short-lived, had accomplished what no one else dared attempt. She had reminded the ancient warrior that he was more than a relic of war, he was a keeper of stories, traditions, and knowledge that deserved to survive. One evening, as they reviewed holographic star charts, Zarthok asked Sarah why she wasn't afraid. She smiled and said, "Because I study the dead for a living. I know that every civilization, no matter how powerful, was made of people who loved, hoped, and feared. You're not a monster. You're just far from home." Zarthok felt something crack inside him, the armor of isolation he'd worn since awakening. In the human's simple words, he found what he'd lost: purpose. He would become a teacher, a living archive of Crithian wisdom. And it had taken one fearless human to show him that even the last of the ancient warriors could find a new way forward. The galaxy would learn that sometimes, the bravest act isn't facing down a warrior. It's offering them a cup of tea and listening to their story.